Hey Raghu, welcome to our show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you here, and let's get right into it.
Thanks, Srini, for having me here today. And it's my pleasure to be, to here and speaking with you today.
So, for those people who already knew about you, Raghu, and for those people who are looking to learn about you, can you take us back to where did it all started? Where did the ball started rolling?
Yeah, so I come from a very small village in Telangana, India, and a place called Nalgonda. And I come from an agricultural family, and my father was a farmer. And we were come from a middle class background. And that's where my journey started actually. And later on, my school education and college education, I was in town and then came to the city and ended up landing in US in this course of time.
So yeah. What was your childhood like? Were you an ambitious kid, and were you ambitious about being an entrepreneur? So how was that started at your childhood?
Going back or looking back at it, I don't think I was. I think it was there inside, but I never knew that I was ambitious or I was a dreamer. But coming back to entrepreneurship, I think it runs in my family a bit. I never realized it until I, completed my, master's and all. But I think it runs in my grandfather. He was a farmer, but with an entrepreneur mindset, and even my dad's brother, elder brother, my uncle, and he also has an entrepreneur mindset. And on top of that, my mother's side, my mother's brother, my uncle, he's a big influence on my life. He quit his government job, to get into a business of his own. Mm-hmm. And I think it runs in the family a little bit. But I personally never saw myself as an entrepreneur until very late in the life.
Okay.
Yeah.
During your childhood, back home, we'll be having class leaders like that, right? So were you one of those class leaders where you developed that sort of a leadership qualities, or how was your childhood at your schools?
Childhood, my schooling was very good. Initially when I started, it was not very good, but actually, when I was in village, I was going to school in village, but I think I was not that of a bright kid. Mm-hmm. And my uncle is the one that kind of said, and took me to the nearby town, the district town, and that's where he got me educated. Mm-hmm. And I was doing very well. I would say I was one of the top 10 in the class, or pretty much all my schooling. And now that you're asking me, going back, most of my school years, I was a school leader. I was a class leader. And probably I didn't see myself. Probably other people have, my teachers have seen me, something in me that made me that, into that role. Probably that was it.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
After that, so you transitioned into your +2. During that.
Yes, +2 and +2 also, it was not. As I said, right, I was not a dreamer. Growing up, it was not a norm that we know what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. It was more like choosing a career, looking at other people and what the success was. And I myself wanted to be a doctor, and looking at, because I had more interest in biology because of my teachers, the way they were teaching. I think that's how biology got me interested. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to be a doctor, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, I couldn't get into the med school first time. So, and that's how it all started. So because I couldn't get into med school, I said, I need to have another profession. So I went into a law school for a year. Mm-hmm. And but soon I realized that was not for me. And then, yeah.
Interesting. So, and +2, you were deciding, that's a defining moment, especially back home, right? After the 10th grade, you have to choose between the paths, career paths, where you want to become an engineer or you want to become a doctor. So you chose a doctor, then it didn't work out. So what made you to go into law school? Because those two are, at least back home, you'll see that as completely a different path. Right.
At that point, right, when you're in +2, and once you can't get into med school, the options were very few. If you look at it, I could go into a commerce path, or I could go into a law path. That was the only engineering. It was too late for me to go into engineering. So these were the only two paths, and so at least I thought this would be a good one, knowing myself, and that's how I got there. But as I said, right, soon I realized that's not the place that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then I changed the course. I went to my master's and MBA course.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, as I said, right, it was always inside. It's probably was running in the family or something, and that probably was the right move at that point, going to master's in business administration.
Wow. So you're pretty much touching all the career paths, like started with med school, then got into law, then transitioned into MBA. So what happened in MBA?
So MBA, it was just mainly, I did my MBA to get into a good job. That was my reason for getting into MBA.
Mm-hmm.
But right after completing my master's, my uncle is the one, right? He's the one that he's my mentor, actually. He's the one that always showed me the path. And looking at him, and he quit a comfortable job to get into a business where he went after his dreams.
Right.
And that probably, and I grew up with him pretty much all my life. I grew up with him. And that probably, run into me too. And on top of that, while I was doing my internship after my MBA,
mm-hmm.
my uncle came up with this idea. One of his friends was starting a business into a cordless headphone distribution company.
Interesting.
Then he discussed that idea with me, and I said, because that's an opportunity to be an entrepreneur, and probably the entrepreneurship kicked in at that point in time. Mm-hmm. I jumped in it, but we didn't have money.
Okay.
And that was the first experience of mine where I had to, generate money. I had to, go and borrow money from other people, and that was my first venture into how money works, mm-hmm. and how the investment works, and entrepreneurship journey started at that time.
Amazing. So you're into your MBA, and you're done with your MBA, and you hop onto this entrepreneurial journey. So is that the distribution of cordless phones back home?
Yeah, it was basically distribution of cordless headphones. That time I thought it was a very good idea, because back home, right, we have small houses and we study in the same place and watch the TV in the same place. Right. I thought with this idea, the parents can watch TV without disturbing the kids, and kids can continue to do their studies. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a brilliant idea, but it didn't last long. I mean, the dream didn't last long, because the quality of the product that we had, it was not, the company they were not improving the quality. Mm-hmm. So it didn't last long. The journey only lasted for about a year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what happened next? I mean, have you kept any money, or just time and effort that you're putting into this entrepreneurial journey that you started with your uncle?
It was not with my uncle. It was just his idea. He kind of led me independently on my own. Mm-hmm. So he was not part of it, and he was having his own business, but he kind of pushed me into this, and which I really liked. And the business didn't go well, and at the end of that 1 year, I had a huge debt, and an unsuccessful business.
Wow!
But one thing that stayed with me is that journey, that 1 year journey, mm-hmm. where it kind of I enjoyed the whole process of the entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. The way I was conducting myself, the way I was able to kind of communicate with others. Mm-hmm. I was able to communicate like an entrepreneur, and I could see my friends the way they were seeing me, because starting a business at that age, that young age, was not a norm for many middle class families at that point in time.
Right.
So, and I could see the growing confidence, and because of the experience that I had, though it went south, it didn't really impact me that much. Mm-hmm. And the only thing that my mind was thinking, that what can I do to return the money that I got, right? That was the only thing. But I didn't have that feeling or frustration that something didn't go my way. Because the whole process taught me to be something different than what I was.
What age were you at that point?
That was 1997. I was 23 years old. So 23, 24 years old, 1997. But that opened new doors for me. And when something goes out, and then what do you do? My only question was, how do I return the money that I got from other people? And there's my family members, my uncles and cousins, they have lent my money. So I didn't want to disappoint them.
Okay.
So right at that time, there was this mainframe boom that all my friends were coming to America. Until that time, the thought that I can go to America didn't exist. Because I was not from an engineering background, and that until that time only doctors and engineers were in America. So that I could go didn't occur. But my friends, again, thanks to my friends, after my parents and my uncle and my friends have a very important role to play in my life, right? And they have pushed me into software when I didn't even know the spelling of software, and that got me a job in Delhi. That made me go to Delhi, and from there I found a job, and the job brought me to America.
So Raghu, you are 23 years old, and you have a failed business, and you have a lot of debt. And do you say that is that the lowest point in your career?
No, that was not the lowest point, because I was just young, and that really didn't sink in. That something really bad happened to me didn't sink in. It was just a feeling that that it didn't really take off the way I wanted, but it didn't. So because one thing that I have this unique character that I don't know if everybody has it, that whenever something doesn't go my way, always look at what's next. And that's a habit that I've always had. Looks like that's one strength that I really am proud of. Because that really helped me not get bogged down by things that didn't go my way. So, but as I said, right, and the thought process, what next, has brought me to America, and within a short time, I was able to repay all my debts and start a new life.
Okay. So, when you came to Delhi, what happened next before you came to America? At that point, you were trying to get into a software industry. At that point, you didn't even know what the software is.
Yes.
How was the journey during your initial days at Delhi, where you're preparing for your software? You're learning courses and you're trying to get to America. So take us a little bit through the journey of your learning about the software, and what made you to think even to come to United States?
Yeah. So, the thought that I'll come to America didn't come until very, very late.
Okay.
It was more like, what is next was the one that brought me to Delhi because of my friends. And that's when, to kind of go and look back, that 1 year journey that I had as an entrepreneur and the internship, that made my communication skills improve compared to many other people. Because I was in the market, right? That helped me grow in communication, and that communication helped me landed a job in the software. Because whatever that I knew, whatever that I learned, the software that I learned, I was able to communicate in the right way, or the way that they could easily understand. Okay. So at least more than my software skills, I think my communication skills that I learned in my business, that helped me land in US. It didn't. I went to Delhi in October, I think September '97. By February '98, I was already in US. It didn't take very long for me to get that.
Okay. Yeah. So when people come from a different country to United States, they might not be knowing a lot of people here, and they might be struggling a lot in the initial days. So how was your early days in United States? Was it smooth?
So mine was a smooth ride, because the company has brought me, and they sponsored me to be here. So I came on a business visa first. It was not an H1 visa or anything. I came on a business visa because it was supposed to be a short trip, 3 to 6 months trip. And 3 months, and I have my couple of my friends who came here for masters by then. So I could talk to them, and it's more like a very well set up place. When I came to the first place I came to was Dayton, Ohio, Wright Brothers home base, and it was. I didn't have any surprises. Let me put it that way. I have a job on hand and a paycheck that's coming straight away, and a place to live, and it was everything arranged. It was pretty smooth. But the thing is that didn't last for very long. The project was cut short after 3 months, 3.5 months, and then I had to go back to India again. So, and that's when I didn't get a job for next 1 year, and that's where, of course, I was enjoying the limelight, because I was one of the few people that were in America by that time, especially the place that I come from. Not many people have been to, out of city or out of India. So it's more like a privilege. I was enjoying the limelight, I guess. But I enjoyed that 1 year can gap between my business visa and H1 visa that I had to get sponsored. So and came back in '99 again.
Okay, what were you doing that 1 year there? Were you also?
So basically, I didn't have a job because the project was over. I didn't have a job, and I was more like learning new courses and understanding. More like, as I said that in the beginning, and I didn't have as much of hands-on experience, and that's what I was trying to get at, and understand very depth into software, and that really helped me, basically reset myself and not to take things easily, and help me practice more and get more knowledge on that.
Okay.
And I came as much stronger programmer when I came back next time.
Okay, cool. So when you came next time and you're here and you're on H1B, of course, have you ever thought that, now I'm on the land of opportunities and I can take advantage of the free enterprise? Were you ever thought about starting your own business at that point? So
no, that the jet that I had, where one business didn't go well. The starting a business didn't occur to me after that, because it didn't occur to me for a very long time, by the way. Because it was enough experience where I said, let me not take any chance right now. But in fact, when I came back to US, my friends have started a business, and I was part of the business for some time, where I was more like operating as a friend, and then until I found a job for myself. And the second time was not as easy as the first time, but my friends made it easy for me because I didn't have to work too much, and they were kind of guiding me the right way. So didn't have to really struggle at the second time too.
So at what point you thought that, okay, enough of JOB, I want to get into something? I know you have done a little bit of real estate investments as well.
The thought of business didn't occur to me until 2005. 2005, I wanted to start, and but I have no ideas in US. I don't know how it works, and my visa didn't help me much. So I was in a visa, so I couldn't do much. So what I was doing was I was trying to partner with my family members back home in India. And 2005 to 2008 was the prime time where I was kind of investing heavily back home in India. Pretty much that was a point where pretty much whatever that I've earned in the first 10 years in America, I kind of put it back in India. That's how it was. But again, this is the second time I had another bad experience. It didn't go because any business has a risk. Right. And then that tried three or four different businesses. But one thing that I did was, the people that I've invested with, very smart people, very, with a lot of experience. And I didn't kind of made a dumb decision that time. I knew what exactly I was doing. I knew who I was investing with. I knew what kind of business they were in. So I was counting on their experience. But any business has pros and cons. Sometimes an experience also kind of, could not help at after certain point. So that happened with me. And by 2010, I came back to square one. Wherever I was in 1998, I came back to the same place by 2010.
Wow. Yeah. So in 2010, is that because of the 2008 financial turmoil where you lost everything, or is that related?
It may be related in a little bit, but not whole life, because I don't think the place that in India, it was as much, 2008 wasn't as much impact. It was impacted because I was not in the stock market. Okay. So it was not, I cannot attribute my failure to that directly. Indirectly, maybe, but not directly.
So in 1998, where you had a failed business and a lot of debt, in 2010, after a lot of experience and being a lot of matured, so is that you lost everything? Do you say that that's potentially your lowest point in your life?
2009-10 was the lowest point because everything that I did until then didn't work. And back to square one. And I have young kids, 3-year-old kids that I am. And now the responsibility was more kicking in, and the things that I did didn't work. Then I look back, what happened? What is that I can learn from these things that I did? So one thing that I realized in those investments that I was making between 2005, 7, 8, and all, if I look back and say I probably was trying to make easy money where I didn't have to hustle, right? I didn't have to work hard, and was more investing more like a passive, where I was not the active person. I was not. So that's when I said, if I'm going to do something next, probably I should learn how to do it first and do it myself, rather than just trying to be passive and enjoy the benefits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that the lesson learned as part of
lesson learned, and that's when that happened, and back in 2010, and after that I said, and I only had $25,000, the savings of that year. Then I said, what can I do? And that's when a real estate opportunity came my way. One of a friend from Dallas, my buddy, and he. I was already looking into real estate back in 2001, 2002 in US, but didn't get the right breakthrough. In 2010, I got this. I said, there's a mentoring program in real estate, and they teach you how to do real estate. And that's when I got in. And out of $25,000, I paid $10,000 to learn how to do real estate. And that really helped me, and that was my next starting point.
Okay. Cool. So with the real estate, you paid about $10,000. Were you able to be really successful with your initial investments itself, or have you faced some struggles in that area as well?
Initially, because I learned everything how to do real estate, the rental properties and apartment complexes. I learned everything theoretically, but I only had just enough money to buy one property.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to do next, and I have the knowledge, but I don't know where to go. And in that process of time, I was looking at see what other options, and then I had this idea that I can leverage my friends. And I didn't know who to go, but I said, okay, let me go to one of my close friends and then say, see, what they have. And the conversation took almost 3 to 6 months, but he said, finally agreed, yes.
Okay.
To invest money with me where I can leverage my knowledge and expertise, and he can be the investor, and that's how we both started together.
So this is precisely you are. You're using your knowledge, and you are having your friend bringing the money. So you're doing that. You're using other people's money.
Yes, that's when again the second time, right? People leveraging other people's money, and that's how I learned it. And that between both of us, we had built a sizable real estate portfolio in the next 7 years, and that was a good run. I can say that. And that's when my wife also came into the picture. Has really supported me, and she's the one to kind of help me with all the real estate work, the properties management work, and everything else. We got into rental properties investments, and built a very good sizable portfolio in the next 5-7 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I know, Raghu, you are into financial industry today. So how did that happen? Have you, at that point, were you ever thinking about even pursuing any additional entrepreneurial journey when you are investing in the real estate? And how did you transition into the next phase?
So the real estate was going very well. And only thing that I found in the real estate space was and this all started, basically my wife was kind of being the face of it. She was handling majority of it because I was busy with my job, but I was more like, the kind of the guidance basically. And she was doing all the physical work, kind of managing those properties and everything else. And all the back end work, she would do it. And the idea is mine, and the money, the investment is from my friend. So it's like a combination of 3 people's ideas coming together. But in the process, then I said, and this is a place I was really enjoying, the real estate space I was really enjoying. I was content actually. I was really content. And because the reason I was content was, if I entertain new ideas in my entrepreneurship journey, or then I knew that I'm going to take some risk, and that I may lose this comfort. I may do. Basically, my past was really haunting me that things I may not be able to do the right way. So I was said, okay, now my real estate is going. I have a good job, and I was really content in life. I was not looking for anything, but only thing that was really bugging me was how long do I continue this job? That was one question that I had, but was not really made any big strides. But I was exploring in real estate. What else can I do? But only thing with the real estate was every new venture requires new money, right? And that was a challenge that I didn't have the right answer. There were answers, but I didn't have an answer that I was comfortable with. Because as you grow bigger, all it takes is one bad project that brings the whole thing down.
Okay.
Because in real estate, every time is like you're climbing your steps. You go from step 1, step 2, step 10. All it takes is at one step that could have a bad experience, and that could bring you down. And dealing with other people's money and putting the other people's money at risk, which it may or may not happen, but the thought was holding me back. I may be putting other people's money at risk unintentionally, right? And actually, it happened to one of a friend. He lost some big money in the real estate space, doing what I was thinking. So that kind of held me back in a way. That is it a good idea to put other people's money when you're constantly doing bigger projects in real estate?
Okay. So your content in your life. So what made you to even get into the financial industry?
It's very interesting, right? I mean, I had the thought, and the thought of real estate kind of died down because the thought, the one that was holding me back of generating the money. But I always had this inside. The entrepreneur inside is probably there. And one thing that I didn't like, because I had a good job and I had a good team and I was enjoying my work and I was content in life, and I didn't want any money, because asking for money, even I used to even pray God, I don't want anything else in life, and whatever that I kind of lost, I kind of got it back, and I'm comfortable now. I'm making good living. I have good friends in Houston, and life was going really, really well. And I didn't have to look at anything beyond. But that one thing that, doing the job for so long, and then traffic was the biggest thing for me, biggest mental block for me. I mean, I couldn't handle the traffic in Houston. And that made me look at something else. And that's when this opportunity in the financial industry came in the form of my friend. And my wife started it, and because she was already into real estate, and she thought this could be a good addition for her.
Okay.
And I was content. I was not even looking at it. I was more like, okay, and I can help you in the background if you need something, but it's your business. I'm sure you can do it well. But while she was doing it, and I got interested in the industry, I got interested in the financial concept that I was learning, financial education that was part of it, and that made me curious actually. And that curiosity came to a stage where I said, okay, if this is so good, it looks so good, and it is interesting. And then one thing I learned is money is in the money business. And then again, the entrepreneur inside probably came out, and I need a reason. And then I found a reason that, I didn't want to work for the next 20 years doing the same job. So, and that was the reason said to kind of take a step into the direction.
So do you remember the first meeting that you had on the financial services, and just take us back to that first interaction as first exposure when your wife is working, and how was that? I mean, were you guys instantly, you're killing it and you're like superstars on that, or was it?
No. So this industry is very unique, Shrini. The way when it got started, as I said, right, I was more in the back end. It was not my business. It was my wife's business. I was there. My role at that point in my mind was I was just helping her if needed. Like, if she didn't understand finances, I could help her. If she didn't understand the business, I could read and help her, and I could attend some trainings and help her. That was more like a back end role that I had. But as I said, right, it got me curious that there's so much potential in this. And I found one uniqueness in this business. This business, not many people are doing it. And it's more than $100 trillion industry. In such a big industry, and there's hardly any space where people can set up their own business. And on top of that, and every single person, they figured out how to make money. They figured out how to invest money. And financial planning is something that many people have not figured out. And financial education is something that many people have not mastered. And that got me curious. And I said, let's start. But when we started, we made one decision. until we give a good shot at it, and we didn't want to quit, because it's a job, it's a business that it's not an easy business. It's a very simple business, but it's not an easy business because we are dealing with people and people's money. That's the most, because sensitive, money is sensitive for everybody. And dealing with making the conversations about money with people is not an easy conversation to have. So getting in, we knew that, but we said, let's all we have to do is develop competency, right? And that's when we started, and we said, we'll not quit until have a good long run for 6 months to 1 year before we see some results and see to make a decision, right? Because we were not sure we had the skills to do this business.
Right. So when you started, were you started as a part-time, or do you have to let go your full-time business and jump onto it all in, or how did it work out in the initial stages of your journey in the financial industry?
Yeah, when we made that decision, and it was my wife who kind of started, and then in the first few months, we saw the progress, and we had a lot of. It was not an easy journey, by the way. It was kind of one up and three downs, more like that, and because we were new to the industry, we didn't know what it was, and it was a completely, and as I said, right, money is a sensitive topic to deal with, and it was not an easy conversation that we could do. And people don't see us as competent people. I mean, right? I come from an IT background. My wife comes from a real estate background, and it didn't match to what people's expectations were, right? But when I said this business has potential, then I realized this is the place to be in. I said I cannot be working anymore, so I made a calculated decision of quitting my IT career after 17 years. I made a decision to quit my IT career, to say, no, let me plant my flag here.
So you said that, yeah, that's another thing. I was about to ask, were you a natural salesperson, or do you have to struggle it? It appears that initially, because you both are coming from different industries. So how did you cultivate that salesmanship? How did you cultivate that interaction and getting comfortable with talking about the finances? As you know, it's not one of the things that everybody jumps on and talks about their finances, right? So do you have, if somebody is starting?
Yes, sales was never my forte, by the way. And I didn't know a lot of people also when I started. And the number of families I knew was about 10 families in Houston, and few friends outside of Houston. That's all I knew. And most of my friends, I was not even in touch. But it didn't take very long to realize that in this business, I don't need sales skills. And this business doesn't require sales skills. All it requires is an entrepreneurship mindset, and being sincere and honest. Integrity was the key in this business, because we are dealing with people's money. We are dealing with people's careers. And we are helping somebody build their own space in the financial industry. So you got to be always at your best, and with a lot of integrity and being honest in what you're doing. When I realized that, that I was always a person where I wanted to have my own space, and without encroaching into somebody else's. So, and that character really helped me. That once I realized it, I could make my way into it.
Okay. So how old were you, Raghu, when you started this business?
I was 42.
42 years old, that's when you started?
43, yeah.
You started your financial industry business. Okay. Pretty much I would say this is the one that you took it to heart and running with it.
Yes. Right. And once I went full-time, and going full-time was not an easy thing. First 3 months, I made $0. Because I was focusing on having my freedom, because after 17 years, if you're not going to job, how does it feel like? I was going to my gym, I was enjoying my leisure in the morning, and I was reading books. So I was kind of focusing more on the things that, not focusing on the business as much, or focusing on my personal. And within 2-3 months, within 2 months, the reality kicked in. That, hey, I'm supposed to spend my time on business, not on the things, because I realized I haven't earned my flexibility yet, right? And that made me refocus And thanks to the business that I'm in, I have a good mentorship, that I have friends around, and the support system that I have in the business that helped me to kind of regroup all my energy and put back into the business. Because this business, I learned one thing. There's something that I learned is constant course correction. As long as you kind of realize soon enough that I'm going off course, and this business gives an opportunity to come back, and because the support system that we have and the mentorship that we have is the one that brings you back and takes you in the right direction. That's exactly what happened. Even though I was deviating, and somebody was able to pull me back right into the space.
Okay, that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
So if you have to go back and tell the same young Raghu who was about to quit or thinking about quitting because of the situation they are in, what would you tell? Because if you go back to the same 23-year-old Raghu thinking about quitting, what would you say?
So if I go, after seeing the success that I've had, in the last 3-4 years, this is completely a turning point in my life. Since 2007, since I quit my job, there was no looking back, because the industry that I'm in, financial industry, and most people underestimate this industry, right? And it's in a way, it's a completely hidden secret. I can say that, and very few people realize that there's so much potential in here. It's a $100 trillion industry, which is almost 3-4 times bigger than real estate, and 3-4 times bigger than your retail spaces, and it's like in a way it's a hidden secret. And I found the secret sauce for this. Only thing is, you have to learn to be competent in this business, and you should know how to build and run a business in this industry, right? And that's when, and as the company, the ecosystem that we are part of, was able to help me to find my way into it. And if I have to give to the viewers, if I want to recommend something in life, most of us we are spending time on making a living, and I would recommend people to kind of start looking at what is that you want to do in life. Really, what is that you really want to do in life? What is that you really want to have in life? And how is that you want to be in life? And I think I recommend people asking these questions to themselves, and that gives them an idea, what exactly do I want? Because most people were borrowing our goals, our lifestyle from other friends, family, and around people that we are hanging out. But it is time, I say, look at yourself and see what exactly you like. Because that's one thing that I've seen missing in myself for a very long time. And I'm glad I found it. Better late than never, I say, right? Early 40s, and because I still have a long way to go. But I would encourage everybody to do that. Find your want. What is that you really want? And the second important question is, why do you want what you want?
Amazing, man. So I see a lot of wisdom in it. So was that coming from the books that you're reading, or is that seminars, or is that your mentors that are helping you get through the challenges and get onto the right track?
Yeah, the business that I'm in, and I call it as a karma cleansing business. Because if you look at it, the two important things in our life, if you look at every person that we have, we're only living for two things. One, security, and the second thing is happiness. And how do you get them? And one is obviously the security comes from the money that you have, the wealth that you build, and the happiness comes from things that you do, and a relationship that you have with people. And luckily the business that I'm in and taught me both of them, and how to build a business in this financial industry, and how to run a business in this financial industry, and how money works, and how to build wealth. I learned, luckily, this space has taught me everything about money, how to deal with money, and how to build wealth. And the second thing is most important, because when I'm talking to people about the most sensitive thing called money, it helped me develop to be at my best all the time. To be sincere to myself and for my clients or customers, and that helped me build my communication, or help me build relationships. Because in this business, once a partner or once a client, or they're there for life pretty much, because you're there in every step of their way. And that helped me to master my relationship building skills and communication skills. So two important things that I wanted in life, I got from this business.
That's amazing, Raghu. I'm glad you're saying that. That's what Tony Robbins also refers to. Reasons comes first. You need to know why. Then you will figure out how. So
Yeah.
the mechanics comes later. The action comes later. So you need to figure out the reasons, and that helps you figure out why. And the actions that'll lead you, and you will figure out the mechanics help you to figure out how. Right. So that's amazing. So before coming to this business or after coming into this business, what part of goal setting? I know you're very big at setting the goals and you're pro at encouraging people to set the goals. Have you developed this one as part of this business, or were you doing it before coming to this business as well? And how importance do you give setting up the goals and achieving them?
Yeah, and before that, you asked one question. I don't know if I answered that question, but what kind of, whether the books or the people.
Right.
And today I can say that if anybody has to change your life, and find the people that you want to hang out with, the mentors that, you should have a mentor for everything in life. First of all, find what you want, and find the people that are doing the things that you want to do, and then copy them, I would say, and have them, if possible, have them as mentors in your life. And then the books can be the best mentors, because everybody, their entire experience, they're putting in their books. And books can be a good mentors, and they can be the leaders, that they can be your, what do you call, the showing the path for you. Two important is having mentors and having books. And this is coming from a guy, I never read a book in my life, other than that entertainment magazines here and there, but I've never read a book until 2017. And then once I learned the value of reading the book, and then I realized, now I cannot imagine myself not reading a book almost every day, every week. And now I have a huge library of books. Pretty much, there's not a single day I didn't buy a book in the last almost more than 2 years. There's not a single day where I don't buy a book, and it's become a constant thing. And coming back to the question that you asked, goal setting, and it's funny, it all started in a WhatsApp. I got one WhatsApp video 5 years back, almost 2015, and in that somebody said, if you want something to manifest, you can just start putting in writing and figure out what you want and have a goal, and then it's like the way it was translated was that a goal is like putting a seed, and all you have to do is water it and and fertilize it and stuff like that, and that goal becomes into reality. And that's how the message that I got at that point in time. I didn't know any other concepts. And then with that thought, and I set a goal for me and my friends. We had almost 12 families. We said, this was in 2015. We said by 2030, let's have a goal to have a $10,000 passive income. 15 years later, let's do something in the next 5, 10, 15 years that can generate $10,000 passive income by 2030, so that we can all retire happily. So that means if you look at the thought, and we were in early 40, which was what age? I was 2015, almost 40, right? It was in 40s, and this is the time that we kind of said, let's do this. And then we want to retire by 2055. So within 15 years, by 2030, that was the goal. And we thought it was a good goal. But fortunately enough, I was able to achieve that goal in the next 2 years. By 2017, but it was a very simple idea. The real estate properties that we had, we used to have a 30-year mortgages. That means that will be paid up by 2045. All we did was refinanced all those properties and made a 15-year mortgage. That means by 2030, all of them will be paid off, and we'll have a $10,000 passive income. So once that goal is set and achieved, then I realized, hey, this goal setting is really working. So now I increased my goal from $10,000 to $20,000, and I decreased my year from 2030 to 2025. So $20,000 per month passive income by 2025. That was the goal. And we set the milestones. And fortunately, thanks to this business that I'm in, the financial space, and that goal has made me created the drive in me. And within less than 2 years, by 2018, I was already making more than $20,000. Actually, in fact, I was making double my goal. So that's when I realized, putting a goal in writing and what you want to have is the most important factor that many people don't realize. Actually, now later I found out that people who write goals, written goals, and it has to happen. It's just that you have to believe that this will happen. And you write a goal, you take some action towards it, it'll happen. And I'm a proof today.
Amazing. That's what people say, right? You need to have a goal post because anywhere, the road to anywhere will take you anywhere. Yeah.
And that really makes a lot of sense because anywhere, even if you want to go to a movie or office or anywhere, restaurant, you need to have the destination address. But we are dealing with life here and we don't have a destination address. So, and that really, kind of clicked in me. And now, if you look at most of my time in the mornings, I wake up and this is what I spend on. What do I really want in life? Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. So if you have to start it all over again, I know you've been in the financial industry for some time. If you have to start it all over again and you don't have contacts, you don't have your money, nothing. All you have is your experience. How do you build on where you are?
Yeah. So now the confidence that I have and all the experience that I've had, one thing I learned, everything in life, whether it's a bad experience or good experience, it's an experience. I want people to take it as an experience. And that's exactly what helped me because there's nothing like bad experience because you can learn everything. You can learn something from bad. You can learn something from good. And everything in my happened in my life, there are tons of bad experiences, you can say that. But every single one has helped me to make a better decision today. Right. And if I have to advise somebody to start, first of all, have a clarity of exactly what you want. Right now, if you look at most of us, we are only working to make a living. That's one way. Or second, we are borrowing our goals from our friends, family, and everybody around. Right. And if our friends are going to America, we came to America. Friends are buying houses, we bought houses. Friends buying cars, we bought cars. So if you look at it, it's pretty much every single one of us, we are borrowing our goals from the people that around us. And I advise people now, yes, that's good. That's a good one. That's one way of growing in life. But start thinking about what do I really want in life? And what is that I want to have in life? And what is that I want to do in life? And that will give a clarity. And then that will set the path. Then that's the idea that we have. And that idea, if you continue working on that idea, it will kind of find a way to help you find a way for you. Because there's a fundamental and the majority of the people, the only way that you can have this is by being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means, the way I see entrepreneur is, there's a business and there's an entrepreneur. They're fundamentally, the way I see them is different. Business is more like a transaction based, making profits. Whereas an entrepreneur, he comes with an idea to solve a problem that is at hand. When you develop a solution for a problem that is at hand, then that idea will make you successful. And I want people to work on that idea. It may not come on the day one, but if you spend enough time on an idea or an ideas, and that will start finalizing, spend 15 minutes, not more than that, 15 minutes on the idea and writing your pros and cons of that idea. And that idea will lead to another idea, and it will put you in a space where you'll find your way into the journey and you'll enjoy the journey.
Amazing. So being an entrepreneur is a tough ask, right? And you have to constantly motivate yourself and constantly motivate people around you and inspiring. So what are some of the things that you do, and how did you train yourself to keep yourself motivated, to keep yourself inspired? Is that writing the goals? Is that the vision boards? Or what are some of the rituals that the people who are watching this webinar can learn from you, that you are developing over the time, that they can adopt and try to get closer to their dreams?
Yeah. So looking at my own experience, Srini, if you asked me 5 years ago, I was not intelligent. I was not successful in life. From a money perspective, I didn't accrue great wealth, and I was very content. I was not a very motivated person, and I never read books, and I didn't have a mentor in my life. And that's exactly was until 2015. From 2015 onwards, everything changed in my life. And if I have to, and then my life has grown at least 100 square, I can say that. And today I can say that I can do anything that I want in life. The confidence that I got in the last 5-6 years is completely different. But what made me got here is, and I'll give a simple analogy, and a simple process for people, right? One thing is the place that you're in. Make sure that there's a saying, right? The person with now and person 5 years from now is the difference is the books that you read and the people that you hang out with, right? And I want people to choose their people that they're hanging out very wisely, right? And the books that they're reading, because the way I see it is, and we all want to grow. We want to go from making a living to growing in life. There's two different concepts, and I want every single person, and this is my personal goal too, help as many people to grow in life. Growing life doesn't mean just making more money, and that's not how I see it. And I understand money is not everything in life, but money is a good source of energy. And what money helps is, once that makes you one checkbox in the right way, and that helps you buy more time so that you can spend on your passions that you have in life. So, and how do you build that passion is not an easy thing. And there's an interesting example. If you look at water, until 2011 degrees Fahrenheit, water is just water, like warm. But the 211 turns to 212, now that water becomes passionate. When water becomes passionate, it can move trains. And that's how, I learned. And it came from a book that I read, 212 degrees. And that's exactly the process that we have is, and you build those skills and we build those. So a few important things that, first thing that I encourage everybody to change is attitude towards your life, not anything else. Once you change your attitude towards life, and everything falls in place.
Amazing, powerful expression. And also, you mentioned, Raghu, at the beginning, in the financial industry, you are struggling a little bit and you took your own time and you had your own commitment and you're struggling. Then that's when you started building that momentum, entered into that 6-figure income and 7-figure income. What's the biggest mindset shift that you think for the people who are making less than that 6-figure income, for the people who are making that 7-figure, high 7-figure, or into the 8-figure income? What's the biggest mindset shift that you think?
One thing that I learned in the last few years is, when I started this new journey, is how important the mind is, right? And I have a simple 3-step process to get where you want to go. First of all, you need to figure out, spend some time to find out what you want and why you want. What exactly do you really want? What do you really want in life? That question, keep it on your vision board and find an answer for that, because that's the most important question that you have in your life, anybody's life. And then once you have it, then start thinking about that, because everything in life, whether anything that was ever created on this earth, it started from somebody's thought. It was somebody's thought. So, and now I want to start thinking about your idea about your life that you're going into. Then once the idea is, once you have those thoughts coming in, and the thoughts have to be positive. Then most importantly, then how you feel about the new person that you're going to be. Basically, once you have the new picture in mind that this is what I want to be, what is the difference between the person that you are now and the person that you want to be? And start thinking like that new person and start feeling like that new person. When you're successful, obviously you're feeling good, you're feeling energetic, you have time on your hands, you're wealthy, whatever the success means to you, that person is, if I'm talking to your viewers, Srini, whatever that means to you, that success means to you, and start thinking like that person, start feeling like that person. But feeling is the key. And many people fail is, we think right, but the feeling is not there. And feeling is, if I have to translate that feeling, it's about believing in yourself that I can be there, I can do it. This is my cup of tea. So if you don't believe yourself, who else can believe you? So only when you believe, that feeling that I can do it comes, and you start feeling good. And if you don't, whatever the space that you're in, whether job or business, entrepreneurship, whatever the space that your family, if you don't feel good in the space that you're in, you're not going to be successful in that area. Right? One thing I say is, do whatever it takes and do things that makes you feel good. Because only when you feel good, you do good, and you do good in life, and you become successful. Then one last thing is the most important thing is persistent action. Take action. Yes, because what I realized being in the business long enough, a lot of people, pretty much everybody knows knowledge, but very few people apply that knowledge. And that's what I would say. Take action. Having an idea doesn't make you successful, but taking action on that idea makes you successful. So positive thinking, positive feeling, which also calls it, I learned it is subconscious mind or heart, right? And taking the action with positive attitude, that will get to the results that you're looking for. And it has helped me to get a 7-figure net worth in less than 3-4 years. I'm sure it does for everybody.
It's amazing, Raghu. So it's all about just touching those dreams and experiencing that. That's what will push you to get closer to your dreams. And yeah, talking about the taking persistent action, it makes me to remind me about the ignorance on fire is far better than knowledge on ice, right?
Absolutely. You said it the right way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your family. I know you have a beautiful wife, Jyoti. I think she's your college sweetheart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to talk about this one, because a lot of people who are trying to chase their dreams, chase their passion, the support from the partner could be very, very encouraging, or it could be causing a lot of stress, and that could come in, that could push people to get close to their dreams sooner, or the understanding of the partner can come their way. So just talk about that a little bit, how important it is to have an understanding wife in anybody's success.
Yeah, actually, this one I learned it from my mom and dad. I remember when I was growing up, though my dad was doing the work on the farm, and pretty much they used to have a catch-up session in the evening, in the sense that what happened, and he would basically they used to do things, but the catch-up session in the evening where he used to tell everything what happened in his area, and my mom used to tell kind of talk about whatever that she has done, and it was more like a natural. It's not like a meeting session or something. In the evening and during the dinner, pre-dinner time, just hanging out, talking, just kind of little chit chat, and that made me realize that having a spousal support is the most important factor in life, and family support, friend support, and all which is required, but spouse is the most important thing. And one thing that whatever that happened in my mom and dad's life, I try to implement in my life, where whatever that we do, me and Jyoti, we try to be on the same page first. And it's not always that we are on the same page, but we try to come to the same page at some point in the direction by talking, by communicating better and all. And whether it's real estate or whether it's financial business, and she has been the biggest support, the way she supports, because I've seen a lot of times when I was not on the same page and she was not on the same page in the beginning. But we have educated each other enough where we can see the bigger picture together. So once we see the bigger picture together, and we were able to put both of our efforts into that, and we became, there's a saying, right? You can make family as an excuse or family as a reason. In this case, we made family as a reason because we made our goals together. So when we realized we are working for common goals, and convincing each other to work together was much easier. So now we don't have to speak different language when we talk about family, when we talk about real estate, when we talk about financial business. So we can talk at the same length. We don't have to, like the way my mom and dad used to talk. They used to talk about what happened in the field and what is happening with kids' life and what is happening with the relatives. They could talk all that in the same conversations. They didn't have to have a separate meeting as such. So that's what I adopted in my life, where we are able to talk business and personal life and kids at will, and without having to have a separate conversations. And that made us come to the same page all the time. And she has been my biggest support, biggest strength, because she was always there behind me and pushed me. She kind of made me realize my strengths also, because I could not realize my strengths, and my friends and my friend Bhagwan. He's a big part of my life too. He encouraged me in a lot of things, and him and Jyoti together have pushed me things that I didn't realize I could do it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raghu, as we are getting close to the end of this conversation, so what would you tell, you being very successful and you and your team are helping thousands of families around you guys, and you're making good income and you're helping lots of families and friends, and you're helping a lot of people to chase their dreams and realize their dreams. So what would you tell to that young Raghu who is content in life and not looking anything, and who is praying the God that, hey, I want to keep the status quo and I don't need any more money, anything, I'm content in life. So with all this experience, what would you tell? Because there might be people who are searching for these answers and thinking themselves that, or having that limiting belief that I'm content in life, I don't want to do anything more. So what would you tell to that young Raghu and people who are in those shoes?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong in being content in life, because if you look at it, most of us are working to be in that space where I'm content in life. I'm not racing anymore. I'm not in that race or anything like that. But what I understood by one of my friend is, a few years ago is, which I did not know, which I didn't know until then. Either we're going up or we're going down, right? There's nothing like status quo. And that thought process really changed me. Like, if I want to grow in life, and am I right now growing, or am I? So that's when my content. I remember I was content in life, and that's when the status quo was questioned. My status was questioned by somebody, and that's when it really hit me. So if I want to grow in life, what can I do? And that made me look for things. Where made me look at things that I can do, and exploring different things. And that's what I would if I have to go back and tell a young Raghu, and this is what I would say, because at any point of time, you're going up in life, you're growing in life, or you're going down in life. There's nothing like status quo. Status quo means you're going down. So if you can understand that soon enough, and find your passions and find your interests and find the things that you like, and for the things that you want to do is important thing. And being that successful state of you, understanding that is very, very important, because unless you understand what you want, you're never going to go there, because you never have an address.
In closing, we'd like to ask our guests, for those people who are listening to you and who are moved by your message and your story, so what would be the final piece of wisdom that you can pass on to this entire world in 30 seconds? What would that be?
So if you look at this thing, first of all, think big and dream big. That's one thing that it's really changed my life. Most people, we have the biggest faculty that we have, but we are not using it. The dreams, we are not dreaming it, and thinking, we are not thinking. That's where it all starts. Anything that you want in life, that starts from there. And the next most important thing that I have is this one. It's not how good you are, and it's how good you want to be. And this is the thought process that has changed my life. And you don't have to look too far behind to understand, are you on track to go where you want to go? Look at your daily ritual. And you made an interesting statement some time back. The daily rituals that we all have. If you look at from morning to evening, the rituals that you do, and 90% of our life, we are pretty much repeat in our life. And what is that we're doing? What kind of thinking process that we have? And how do we feel our day? If you look at how did I feel the whole day today? And then what actions do I take? The actions that I took, is it in line with what I want to be? You don't have to go beyond. Look at your day. In that day where you're having positive thoughts, And did you feel good about your day, that you accomplished something? And did you take action that will take you towards, is the action that you're taking, or they taking where you want to go? If you understand these three things, looking at your daily rituals, you don't need nothing else.
Amazing, man. So in closing, Raghu, in closing every episode, we play a game called the Words of Wisdom. I'll be giving one word or phrase, and you can share your immediate reaction to that word or phrase. Okay, it's 10, and I'm going to say 1, and you're going to give your response. The only condition is you cannot repeat yourself.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Struggle.
Struggle. I mean, struggle and hustle is part of life. I mean, basically anything that you want in life, you got to hustle, because you got to pay the price today so that you can pay any price tomorrow.
Amazing. Life right now.
Life is beautiful, and life has to be beautiful. If life is not beautiful, there's something that we're not doing it right. And let's get back to the basics.
Leadership.
Leadership is something that, by design, we are leaders, because if you look at your own home, our kids are looking up to us, and you have an opportunity to play the leadership role. And now you step out of the house and you're a leader outside, right? Leader is all about, can somebody wants to be like you? Are you creating a brand for yourself, right? So that people can follow you, people can see that they want to adopt what you're doing. That's all about leadership. Basically, you're kind of defining a role for somebody else.
Your
right?
Family.
So family is the biggest thing. Family and friends, and because these are the people that you're spending most of your time. And this is why I say, just be in that loving space.
Money.
Money, I understand money is not everything in life, but money gives a good source of energy. And money is an easy thing to measure success. So which is why many people use money as a measurement yard for success. Money brings you the time that you're looking for. It helps you borrow the time so you can spend on your passions.
Amazing. So money gives you that time freedom.
Yeah.
Goals.
Goals is all about, goal has different meanings. The way I see it is, I want to know what I want to do in my life. I want to know what I want to have in my life. I want to know where I want to be in my life. If I know these things in advance, then I know exactly what to do today.
Your Tesla.
Tesla, it's a great car, but the most important thing the thing that I enjoy in that car is, first of all, it's a green car. It's all green energy. The second most important thing is it opens and closes the door for me. I feel like a king when I drive it, and second thing is, it helps me to stress less, and I love my car.
Mentors.
Mentors are the most important people in life, and anything can be a mentor, and anybody can be a mentor. I learn from my wife, I learn from my family, I learn from friends, and most importantly, I learn from my kids. But now I got to a stage. Now I have a business coach, I have a leadership coach, I have a health coach. I'm looking for, right now, YouTube is my spiritual coach, but I'm looking for an active spiritual coach. And we all need coaches in life. Why? Because you don't have to figure out things that somebody already knows. We just can borrow their experience and borrow their knowledge and implement it straight away. God, in the way I see it is energy, and God is within us. If you see God as an energy, and energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. And it's just that how much of that energy that I can borrow from the universe is all about it.
The last one. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Passion.
It's not something that you can just find out easily, but you'll find out one day. And a few years ago, I thought IT was my passion. But when I ventured into real estate, I thought that was my passion. Now today, this is my passion. passion for me, it keeps changing because you're evolving as a person, and you'll find things that you didn't want. Whatever that you wanted 5 years ago may not be the thing that you wanted today, right? And the way I see passion is, what is that you like today, and what is that you like, what is that like that you want to do more and more, right? And that's what is passion is about. And when as I said, right, 212 degrees, water becomes passionate. And the way I see it is, how can I become that 212 degrees to find my passion? And passion, it's okay to, passions keep changing, depends on how you evolve.
Well, Raghu, thank you so much. And you certainly brought your passion here. And thank you so much. Everybody learned a lot out of this session.
Thanks so much, Srini. And it was a great conversation. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people, because my journey has been great. And I'm really excited for my next course of life. And I wish the same for everybody.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, just live strong and live with passion and work hard to chase your dreams. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next episode.